Lights on. It's time to start Curb Cuts.
Curb Cuts is produced by the Central Coast Assistive Technology Center, made possible by donations from Cal Poly CPTV and Slow Public Access, funded by grants from the Christopher Reeve Foundation, Go Forward, the San Luis Obispo County Community Foundation, For Good Forever, and the California Endowment, increasing access to healthcare for all Californians. Curb Cuts is also sponsored by Mac Superstore. And now, Curb Cuts.
Hello, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Curb Cuts. I'm John Lee, and he's Paul Mortola, and we're the hosts of this show about assistive technology and how it enables people with disabilities to live as independently and as productively as possible. We're coming to you today from a studio at Cuesta College, so we'd like to thank Cuesta for allowing us to use our studio. Today's focus is on assistive technologies for people who are deaf and hard of hearing. And it's estimated that there are up to 28 million people in this country who are deaf and hard of hearing, and we expect this number to continue to grow rapidly with the aging baby boomer population. Some of the devices that we show you today are really targeted towards individuals who are deaf, and others are more used by those who are hard of hearing. But as you'll see, there's also a lot of crossover with some of these technologies for both deaf and hard of hearing. As with every episode, we'll try to highlight time constraints. We're not going to be able to cover as many as we would like, or cover them in as great as depth as we would like. But we hope to be able to show some of the things that we left out in future episodes. As you'll notice, today's episode is subtitled for the deaf and hard of hearing. This episode will also be audio-described for people with visual impairments and will be posted on our website, www.ccatc.org. As with every episode, for more information, you can visit our website or call us at 549-7420, and we welcome any feedback and suggestions you have for this and for future episodes.
In keeping with the Curb Cuts theme, we wanted to cover some technologies that were originally designed for individuals that were deaf or hard of hearing, but have now found widespread use in all areas of our lives. Closed captioning for television is another good example for technology that was designed for individuals learning to speak a second language, individuals with learning disabilities. These are all great examples of where the technology is useful to those individuals as well as individuals who are deaf.
Another example of this type of curb cut technology is email. Vinton Cerf, one of the original founders of the internet over 30 years ago, is hard of hearing himself, and his wife is deaf. Cerf actually used email as a form of communication with his wife, and therefore felt the need to have email integrated into the internet, taking it from the government sector and really making it more of a commercialized product. So we have Cerf to thank for making email the type of tool that we all can benefit from today.
Now we're going to introduce you to a good friend of our program, Beth Houston. Some of the technologies that she uses to communicate with others, to live safely and live independently in her home environment. We'd also like to thank Jenny Morales from the Independent Living Resource Center, who assisted with the sign language interpretation during this episode.
Hello, my name is Beth Houston, and I was born profoundly deaf. I was born here in Santa Maria, California, and I'm currently a full-time student at Allen Hancock College. I'm going to be graduating in May of next year, and I also volunteer at the Independent Living Resource Center, and that's been going on for about 2 years. My goal is to work with deaf individuals and advocate Right now, I'm also running a club that is labeled the Deaf Pride Club. And it's my responsibility to gather information for deaf individuals because sometimes they're isolated and I want to gather them and get them out in the community. I also host events at Starbucks, and you can also check out several events at www.deafprideclub.com. Included in the website are news and pictures, and if you need to contact me, you can as well. Hello, my name is Jenny Morales, and I work for the Independent Living Resource Center here in Santa Maria. I work with Beth Houston, who is also a volunteer for our organization that serves the. My program specifically focuses on communication access for deaf and hard of hearing individuals. I'm also an advocate for people with disabilities. We serve not only deaf individuals but the whole disability community in general. Our headquarters are based in Santa Barbara, but we do have a small side office here in Santa Maria as well as San Luis Obispo. Sometimes I'm in my bedroom and I'm watching TV and I notice that I have a signal device, and on there's a green light that displays and flashes, and I know that means somebody's at the door. So I come out of my bedroom and I turn off the light and I open the door and I see my visitor there and I greet them and ask them to come in. Okay. I use VP, and that stands for have this device and we can chat and sign away with each other. But the TDD, is that you're typing back and forth to converse, and it's really slow, and you've got to wait until one person types and finishes, and vice versa, and it takes up a lot of time. Also, if you use the California relay service, that also lags the time, and you're waiting and waiting constantly, and that's why there's a difference between Sorensen and the TDD, and I like the Sorensen device because it's more faster and the TDD is more slow. And the good thing about it is that there's no bills. I have no telephone bill. With the TDD they charge me for a phone bill. The sidekick. Most deaf people use that device. It's almost considered to be like a deaf phone. That is very popular amongst the deaf population. With the Sidekick, you have email, you have instant messaging that you can chat with your friends online, and it also has a relay, considered an IP service, that you can place phone calls out for deaf people. And that's really cool. And there's a monthly charge for that. That's very affordable. We also need some improvements in our community on access. I've noticed that we have problems with, trying to obtain access to go to hospitals or even the dentist. There's lack of interpreters, interpreting services. They don't think it's required, and I think that they should be more motivated to. Where our lives are in their hands. For example, I want to give you, if I go to the dentist and I find a person that's, not necessarily fluent in sign language, but yet the dentist wants this person to help interpret, and they know just a little bit of sign language. Suppose if they interpret the wrong sign or interpret the wrong message, and the deaf misunderstood, and maybe the deaf individual ends up hurt. I think their lives are in the dentist's hands, so I prefer a licensed interpreter.
As you saw in Beth Houston's segment, the combination of video phone technology and a high-speed internet connection like DSL or cable has opened up a whole new world of communication for deaf and hard of hearing individuals who use sign language.
Beth showed you some of the alerting technologies that she uses in her home. Basically, smoke detector that flashes a strobe light if it's activated. Other individuals might have different kinds of alerting technologies for them. For example, an individual could be wearing a pager, and on that pager, when it vibrates, the individual can look at the pager and determine whether there is someone at the front door, whether the smoke detector is being activated, or whether a clock alarm has been set for some reason. So there's many different kinds of alerting technologies that individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing need to use to live safely and independently in their environment. Another example of a basic alerting technology is the alarm clock in the morning. Individuals use to either have strobe lights flash or a vibration unit that can go under their pillow that will wake them at a selected time on the alarm. Beth talked a little bit about instant messaging and how important that is in her life for communicating with her friends and business partners. That's just another good example of how the internet has been adapted to a very useful tool for individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing.
We also wanted to talk to you about a new and exciting technology for communication that can be used by people who are deaf and hard of hearing. This device is called the UB Duo. This is a tandem of portable, battery-powered, wireless, keyboard-based devices that allow for simultaneous face-to-face communication among 2 to 4 people. And the way these work is they can be used as a unit or wirelessly up to 1,000 feet away. And they don't require a third person to be present for a deaf and hard of hearing individual to communicate with someone else, because both parties type what they want to say into these devices, and what they're typing is simultaneously read by the other individual. As I said, it's a wireless technology and it has its own frequency, but it doesn't rely on any special internet or wireless service in order to work. It's strictly battery operated using rechargeable batteries that last up to 10 hours. The devices are instantly on when you power them up, and they also are very lightweight. They're not more than 6 pounds together, so they can be taken with that individual anywhere they go. So in any kind of public setting, whether it's a restaurant, a hospital, emergency room, anywhere where there may not readily be access to a sign language interpreter, these communication devices can be used by that deaf and hard of hearing individual, really allowing for communication access like they may never have experienced before. So while this isn't necessarily a replacement for something like sign language interpreting or lip reading, it can really facilitate communication in ways that really allow for private one-on-one conversations immediately without having to wait for an interpreter or someone to show up. And they leave no room for error as far as interpretation goes either. So again, something the UB Duo does is really allowing greater independence in communication out in public, and we're excited to see where devices like these go in facilitating greater independence and integration of deaf and hard of hearing individuals into society, and in situations, especially in emergency situations where in the past communication might have broken down. There are a couple of useful alternatives to sign language interpreting for, in particular, students in classroom settings. One of these is real-time captioning by companies like Rapid Text. And the way this works is that either an on-site or a remote captionist uses a steno machine to basically translate what has been spoken in the classroom by a teacher or other students. And this is presented in a text format on a computer screen for the individual who's deaf and hard of hearing, so they can get that information immediately as it's occurring, and they can also save that information for review later. Another example of this type of captioning is a relatively new technology called iCommunicator, and iCommunicator uses advanced speech recognition technology, in particular Dragon Naturally Speaking, to translate what an individual is speaking, whether, again, if it's a teacher or anybody in that situation, and it is instantly transcribed into text or sign language or a computer-generated voice on the computer for that student who is trying to follow the information that's being spoken.
Curb Cuts will be right back after this message from the California Telephone Access Program.
Now, I love my mom, but she's hard of hearing. Isn't that right, Mom?
Yes, but
So when I call, she might not hear the phone ring or what I'm saying.
Yes, but...
But then we got this amazing free phone. It flashes lights, it rings like a fire alarm, it has the volume of a jet engine. If you need a phone like this for free, call the California Telephone Access Program.
Oh, I love the phone. I just wish there was one for children who have trouble listening.
We'd like to spend a little bit of time talking about assisted listening devices. Assisted listening devices are systems, amplification systems that are used for individuals that are hard of hearing and are used in areas such as watching television. They may be used in areas where it's loud, such as in a restaurant or in a group meeting where they are not hearing all the information that they desire to hear. And assisted listening devices, in this example, are not hearing aids. Hearing aids are specific personal technology that's designed and provided by an audiologist. The assisted listening devices really kind of come in three different areas. One is a personal pocket talker, which is something that an individual that's hard of hearing may wear on their belt like a pager, and wired to that is an earpiece. And the individual would have control over that assisted listening device as to the volume and also as to the tone of the sound that's coming in. This is a great device that's used perhaps for watching television where your partner doesn't need the television as loud as you do. This allows you to have a more comfortable level and also more comfort for your partner. Additionally, it's a great example to use assisted listening devices in meetings, in areas where you may not be hearing all the information that's being spoken, and by wearing this personal amplification system will allow you to hear the speaker more clearly. A second example is a personal FM system. A personal FM system is similar to an amplification system. However, the FM system has two pieces to it. The pickup, the microphone, can be placed anywhere. For example, in a meeting, could be in the front of the room where the speaker is presenting the topic, and you, the individual with hard of hearing, may be in the room listening to this discussion, and you have control over the sound and volume of his speech. The third example is a lot of individuals have just difficulty listening to their television. There are specific listening devices that are used to amplify the television system. There's two basic systems. One is a stethoscope style, where the individual who's hard of hearing wears an earpiece that looks like a stethoscope, and through infrared transmission picks up the volume from the television. There's also other design devices that are picking up the sound from the television that can be worn over the ear, either on one side or both sides.
Another newer high-tech alternative to open caption films is a new technology called rear window captioning system. And this takes captioning a step further by providing a device that's really a clear acrylic sheet that has the captions lit up with an LED light that only the person sitting in that seat can see. The captions are then superimposed onto the film, but everybody else in the theater watches the movie as they normally would. So this allows a person who's deaf or hard of hearing to have captioning in any movie, any showtime, and any seat they want in the theater. These systems are rather pricey, in the $12,000 to $14,000 range, and they're currently mostly found in the larger theaters across the country. But if you want to advocate for those for some of our local theaters, you can check out the website, mopix.org, that stands for Motion Picture Access, and see some of the ways in which you can get more information about this technology and see about bringing that to some of our local theaters. Finally, the Media Access Group at WGBH has been leading the efforts to make online multimedia content more accessible to people who are deaf and hard of hearing. As we're seeing with the increase in high-speed internet connections and more multimedia content being available online, it's important not to leave people who are deaf and hard of hearing behind by not allowing them to have that video captioned. So you can visit the WGBH website and find out more about the efforts that they're doing to caption online video, and even seeing what other companies are doing like AOL to make this video content more accessible. Now we'd like to introduce you to E.T. Harvey from the California Telephone Access Program, who's going to talk about and demonstrate that program, which provides phones for free to Californians with disabilities.
Hi, you guys. This is to introduce you to the California Telephone Access Program. This is a state-mandated program that was established in 1979. And one of the things it does is it provides Californians who have difficulties with their hearing, their ability to see, speak, or move about, free equipment. One of the things we're going to talk about today is the equipment that is beneficial for those who are deaf and also hard of hearing.
Where can I get more information about this program?
For additional information, in the front of your yellow pages is the information regarding the California Telephone Access. As well, in the back of the coupon section, you'll actually find an additional brochure. For more information, go to www.ddtp.org.
How does a hearing individual call someone who's deaf?
When our program first started in 1979, the first recipients of our equipment were those who were deaf. They received this unit here, the TTY, also known as the TDD. However, culturally speaking, TTY is the preferred name. How one would use that is a unit is turned on, you and I would pick up a receiver, yet a deaf caller would actually turn the unit on here. Using 711 on their keypad, they would dial the relay operator, and their call is then processed. That information now is given to the person whom they're calling. And when their conversation is ended, they simply turn it off.
What kinds of phones are available for individuals who are hard of hearing or deaf?
John, Paul, one of the major complaints we often hear is individuals tell us, I can't hear my phone ring. Let me simulate a ring, and then you let me know if you can hear it.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Did you notice that in the front of that phone there was a flashing red light? That light alerts the householder that their phone is actually ringing. No more confusion with the television, my neighbor, and now they're able to see it. One of the nice things about the phone is that there's a blue dot in the middle. When a hard of hearing person pushes that button, it actually increases the volume 48 decibels. You'll notice too that on the front of the phone are nice large numbers for those with vision difficulty, as well as 6 functional cells that can be programmed in for speed dialing. When the receiver is off, these lights illuminate, and that way they can make calls during the nighttime. For those who are adventitiously deafened and still have use of their speech, another unit available is voice carryover, VCO. A caller would simply pick up the handset, dial 711, and use a relay operator. Now the operator types about 60 words per minute, and speech is at a much higher rate. So you got to remember to speak slowly and speak to the person that you're speaking to. Now here's the nice part. Everything that the other person says is actually printed across the screen for you to review. Now you cannot speak simultaneously. You'll have to wait until you're cued with the GA to speak, which stands for go ahead. When the call's over, you simply will say GA to SK, and you can end your call.
Do you have devices that tell you the phone is ringing if you can't hear it?
Various signaling devices are available. You can have your phone connected to a lamp that would flash anytime the telephone rings. You can be provided with a pager that would vibrate. Or an extension bell that can be placed in another part of the room.
E.T., tell us about the new CapTel phone.
Earlier we demonstrated the VCO, the voice carryover equipment. But another technology is available also. That's caption telephone. The difference between the two is there's no need to pause, no need for the GA or SK, and you're not using a relay operator. This unit uses voice recognition software. One thing you want to remember before making your call is make sure your caption button is on. The red light will come on. You pick up the receiver and dial a number. When you're all done, you can actually recall the information by pressing your menu and then reviewing your caption.
One more detail to add about the CapTel phone that ET demonstrated is that those who want to call a CapTel user must first dial a 1-800 number. We also want to remind viewers that CCATC is a demonstration center for the California Telephone Access Program. And if you want to come in and see and try out these phones that are available for free for all Californians, please give us a call at 549-7420 and make an appointment.
We'd like to mention that we have many of the assistive listening device technology that you've seen today available at our center for demonstration and for loan. This free program is provided by the California Endowment, and we're able to evaluate and provide this technology on a lending basis so that you can determine whether it's an appropriate technology for you. So please feel free to give us a call at 549-7420 to make an appointment, and we can take a look at this technology.
In closing, we hope you found today's episode about deaf and hard of hearing technology to be informative and enlightening. Also, we hope that employers realize that there are many ways in which you can accommodate workers who are deaf and hard of hearing, and also to encourage business owners to make a concerted effort to reach out to deaf and hard of hearing customers by making their information, services, and goods as accessible as possible. And through today's technology, we hope that you see that this is very possible.
Finally, we wanted to make you aware of a meeting that's taking place in Santa Maria on January the 18th from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock called Good Could Be Better. And it's a meeting with individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing, and there will be on display technologies that assist people that are deaf or hard of hearing.
We'd like to close today's episode, like we close every episode, with showing you our friend Maisha Thomas using the motorized beach wheelchair down at Avila Beach. And to remind viewers that you can check out this beach wheelchair for free if you have a mobility impairment by giving us a call at 549-7420. And we'll put you in touch with the New Marine Institute down there in Avila, which is helping us check out the beach wheelchair. For Paul and I, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
For more information about the technology you saw in this episode, please visit our website, www.ccatc.org, and click on Curb Cuts.